Hey, everybody, welcome to the virtual gas. I am your co-host this week, Rob Crean. Please welcome my co-host, Gary Peterson. Welcome, Gary.
How you doing, buddy? You hanging in there?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
It's very hot here, and people are still working out on the beach with a mask on, which is gross.
You're working out, right? Do you wear a mask when you work out?
I mean, I've been blasting my calves daily and slamming my lats, as you know.
Yeah.
I've got a great Instagram butt workout that just works the hole.
Yeah.
And
You gotta get that tight. 'Cause,
that's where the strength comes from.
yeah.
You
That's
look.
what they talk about when they talk about core strength.
You look very good. You look like you're a
Thank you.
reporter from Watergate. What are you?
Yeah. That goes all the way to the top.
Rob was 38 when Watergate happened.
I remember it well.
What have you been doing? You've been keeping in shape. You've been obviously not shaving as I am also not shaving.
Yes, yeah, I've been growing a quarantine beard for a bit. It's I haven't had a beard in a while. I don't really like my beard right now because it's too splotchy. Like the colors, like once it's white, I'll be happy with it, but it's just a little too like some white, some brown, you know. So I don't really like it, but I'm not going outside, so I don't care as much.
Is it partly brown because you keep eating shit on Zoom mics every night?
That is not partly brown.
Rob and I have a fun dynamic. I bully Rob, and everybody bears
And
witness.
I take it with humble grace, and it's a lot of fun for people to watch. Just
You and
how
I, we're actually
graceful I am in taking Gary's
you are the
cruel abuse.
You're the
Sorry,
Nancy Kerrigan of comedy. There's
Why?
every time her name is brought up, my dad will go, slept with a coach. What a scumbag. He doesn't want to address the fact that she was attacked in the prime of her life. Ever.
He's saying
He's
she's
like,
a scumbag or the coach?
she's a scumbag because she slept with her skating coach.
That seems like that's wrong.
I mean, there's two sides of that. Of that being wrong on both sides.
Time?
Do what?
Did it get her more rink time?
I hope so.
Really Machiavellian child.
They let her drive the Zamboni, if you know what I'm saying. There it is. We're having fun.
Who among us wouldn't trade sexual favors for riding a Zamboni?
You want to see if we could fan vote some of the names we've been workshopping for our personal show. We're actually going to start a second Zoom show for the internet. It'll be on Saturdays, a week from tomorrow. We're working on a name, and we want to have different types of guests, people, stand-ups, people that are doing characters, somebody that's a storyteller from like a month that could, tear up and be like, and I never had pancakes again, like one of those people. And we've been texting back and forth a lot today on the name. So if you guys want to hear some...
First, Gary had a name that I thought was a really good name, but then I looked it up and it was already taken. He wanted to call it The Tonight Show. And so then my first suggestion after that, I didn't have any good ideas. So I just said, how about Mr. Ding Dong and the Super Stud? And
we then argued who would be the Ding Dong and who would be the Super Stud. My fans only would suggest I'm the Super Stud, but Rob is also thinks it's him, but we didn't want to be like the Ding Dong Show in California. So then I changed it around to Captain Dongle and Gary Peterson. I think that was fun.
That's pretty good. And then I suggested Organ Grinder and Monkey Boy.
That could work, which I think my dad's always called me Monkey Boy. Don't ask why. Uncle Giuseppe and the Monkey Boy, I think, is a little bit better. And then you did a Simpsons callback. You said,
Mr. Kukulabanza and some real ugly kid.
That was fun. I went with Mr. Pizza Face and Four Eyes. That could be very kind of cleared. And then I said Super Stud and the Ugly Kid because I really think Super Stud is where I'm at. We landed on.
I kind of thought I was the Super Stud in the. Well, I don't know. Anyway, so then I said, what about Creanie and the Gipper?
Which I like. I like calling myself the Gipper. It's
like
just
that.
a stupid name. And then I changed it to the Gipper and a piece of shit.
I liked less. I didn't think that was good. And then I thought, how about what if we called it co-host to co-host? So it kind of sounds like coast to coast because we're on opposite coasts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of a reference to the long-running AM conspiracy show Coast to Coast. And then Gary suggested.
Fuck Face and Gary Peterson, I think was a good one.
So we both put a lot of thought into the titles.
You came back.
Oh yeah, I came back with, this is a little bit of a different format. Just to call the show "We Lost Our Dicks in a Fire,"
which only applies to Rob specifically. An unfortunate. I don't know. What do you grill? Eggplant.
I love a good grilled
Fartles and
eggplant.
James was yours, which I thought.
Yeah,
was
Fartles
good.
and James. It's a reference to an old wine cooler that I don't think is made anymore. And then
Skipper and the Gipper.
Skipper and the Gipper. I like that. That's pretty good. And then you also just suggested Pigeon Penis Fucking Retard Boy and Gary Peterson, which I didn't love.
I think that was. I feel like you're pointing fingers now.
Yes, I am definitely pointing fingers.
Does anybody have?
Then I suggested Cream Jeans and Penis Peterson.
That could work. I mean, does anybody have any thoughts on the names? Audience reaction.
The best name for Rob was Creanie,
mm-hmm.
and the best name for Gary was Super Stud. So I think
Creanie and Super Stud
and Super Stud. And then I don't think either of you should do it, and I think instead I should do it.
That's a winner.
Maybe all three of us do a show called Creanie, the Gipper, and Super Stud.
No.
And you're Creanie, I'm still Super Stud.
I'm Axl Rose you out of the. We're still called Creanie in the
Katie.
Oh, I had a comment to say with the name The Gipper. I found a bunch of these old school presidential voting buttons, and it says, "Win one more for the Gipper." And it shows Ronald Reagan and George W. Bush together. I don't know anything about presidents, you guys. So
George W. Bush George H.W. Bush was his vice president.
But that's George W., I think.
Is it George W?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they just looked exactly alike.
He thought sriracha was meat.
Wait, what? What'd you say, Dan?
Ronald Reagan thought ketchup was a vegetable.
That's true.
He was that guy. He did a lot of kooky things.
But he thought that sriracha was meat.
Yes.
No, that's...
Loved jelly beans.
Pretty funny guy.
Protein jelly beans.
It's the opposite of a callback when you just say it again with less confidence.
I think during the show, if anything pops up, Rob and I may comment. But in the chat, if you got an idea for our show title, we'll steal it from you and go from there. Rob, anything? Think of anything funny this week?
You know what? Actually, we should talk more after this. But our friend Jenny Zigrino is up next, and she's got a heart out very soon. So let's go ahead and welcome Jenny Zigrino.
Woo!
Hey!
I'm not muted anymore. Hi, everybody.
Hey. How are you?
Good to see you. I know so many of your faces, and I can't see the ones I don't, so I don't give a shit. Good to be here. Living quarantine life. It's been great. Having a lot of talks with my old parents who have suddenly become investigative journalists for all the wrong reasons. My mother got kicked out of a hospital because she wanted to prove to me how empty it was. So my get kicked out of an ER during a pandemic, and I just see the video of her being like, "See, Zhenya, no one is here. This is called no one is sick. And I'm like, well, probably go into the hospital where all the sick people are. They're not just going to be hanging out in the waiting room waiting to die. And then my dad is like the same. My dad is like an old boomer. And I'm really happy we got rid of like the baby part of baby boomer because it just makes them sound so innocent, right? It's just like, oh no, I'm sorry for all the climate change. I'm just a baby. Oh, sorry you can't afford a house, millennial. So fuck them. But it's like, I've noticed though, if you want to make a boomer mad, just tell them that somebody in the room has a peanut allergy and watch them just lose it. They can't handle that. So I have a 12-year-old sister. She's my dad's kid. And he wasn't allowed to send her to school with a peanut butter sandwich. And he lost it. He was just like, you mean to tell me that there are kids out there who are getting taken out by a fucking Butterfinger, that this tiny little peanut is gonna kill them? Jenny, this is all part of the goddamn liberal agenda. All these fucking peanut butter pussies. This is Iran. This is gonna be, so Iran can bomb us, so everyone dies from fucking Reese's peanut butter cups, okay? I get it. I fucking see it. DrudgeReport.com. So that's what I have. I've been trying to keep in contact with my little sister, try to save her from my very conservative dad. Like sometimes I'll call her and just be like, Olivia, don't tell dad. Feminism, click. And and hope she gets my clues. She's 12 and it's happening, you guys. She's changing. She's turning into a bitch. I asked my dad, I was like, we should have a puberty party for her. Like, we'll have a red velvet cake, and we'll have a tampon, or a piñata filled with tampons, and then we all put on white shorts and wait. And he didn't like this idea. But I think we should still do it. Like, even young boys, they can get a puberty party. They get a piñata, they just have to ask to hit it, and then they consent. No problem, you're welcome. Man,
you fucking idiot.
Is that your yard?
Maybe you should bury yourself in the yard when you fucking kill yourself.
I don't know. That's weird. That's a little bit harsh, I think.
Is that your Zoom bomber? Rob,
Zoom bomb?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Let me
always have a Zoom bomber. You haven't controlled this yet.
I just it's hard to tell who's like a real person and who is someone that I like. Sometimes I think I recognize a name. Hopefully he won't do anything else.
No, that's good.
Uh-oh.
Oh man.
Looks like
Jenny.
you're getting Zoom bombed, you piece of shit.
Oh no. All right, look, this happens sometimes. She's probably gonna show like some pornography or stuff. So hopefully, if anyone, so just everyone don't
porn out.
Yeah,
yet.
Just
So it's
an
not
informational Zoom hashtag Bad Santa 2 sucks.
Well, that's rude, I think.
You know what time it is? Fred Durst, inspirational quote, bitch. Happy Mother's Day.
What?
That's
my
not
godson.
true.
Where'd you get that? I did not throw him in a dump. I don't throw babies in dumps.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
I guess he's gone.
I guess he's gone.
He's gone. I put him in the waiting room. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that was.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, that's weird.
Did the Zoom bomber get thrown out?
I think he might have. I think he'll probably be back though. I mean, if I know anything about Zoom bombers, they come back. They probably are going to come back. If I know anything about Zoom bombers, which I don't know a lot about Zoom bombers. So yeah, hopefully that's it. So,
All right, then I guess I'll do my closing bit and go.
I guess I should have been more clear. Oh boy, thank God that got handled.
I'm so glad we got that Zoom bomber.
Yeah, oh man, I was trying to get him off for a while, but I'm not good at technology. Oh no!
Guess who's back? Dr. Dre.
Oh no. This is just getting
Good
worse.
award.
Oh, that's
Okay, look.
Congratulations, Jenny. Congratulations.
I don't fuck shelter dogs.
Why do you fuck them to death? That's so fucked up. That's a true photo. That's
That
just
is
a true
not-
fact.
That I don't know what that is.
Oops.
That was Halloween. Okay, and it was Halloween. I was 16.
Oops.
It's a good costume.
Oh no, they're pulling out of Iraq. Hashtag
Oh.
pouty freedom. Hashtag job. Hashtag Saddam slut.
Did you tweet? Is that a real tweet?
That's accurate.
I never said
Well-
the nonsense.
Okay, that's
Okay, you know what? Rob, you have the same photos. This photo, I will never feel bad about this photo. It's dope.
Did you really hold the Game of Thrones Red Room hostage because there wasn't enough incest in the
I
show?
didn't.
This one.
No,
Oh no. Okay,
I
no, this is.
I think that there's too much incest.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Like, I never got fingered by Jay. At this point, love it. I would never fingered by DJ.
Yeah, you would remember probably.
I haven't seen it in so long.
Oh, okay,
I-
that is just that's harsh.
That's
It's neither Jenny, it's neither the dogs.
I don't the dog. Again, Halloween. You just
Okay,
found
yeah,
out
that's
how
not-
photos of me.
I mean, I think it's spelled wrong, but also
Rob,
I think
you
it.
were at that Halloween. You remember
Yeah.
that Halloween.
I remember it, yes, and I didn't see you masturbate at all that whole time. Oh no, now that's just harsh for
Oh,
both
come
Jenny
on.
and Conan. I mean,
Mean.
that's just
You guys
mean.
ready?
That
You guys
is
ready for
not,
a
as far as I know,
question?
not why
Let's
it's
do
night.
Bomber.
He lost the Tonight Show.
Hey, Jenny,
Oh,
you
no.
fucking ready for a big question? You ready?
Oh,
Question
no,
one.
not a question.
Women aren't funny.
That's
not
not a-
Question two. Question two. Get ready. You ready, white piece of shit?
Yeah.
You know what? I think you never been told that you matter. I think that there's something about you that's special. And I think you're a fucking piece of shit. And you showed me them titties the rest of my life. Will you marry me?
Yeah. Yeah, I will marry you, Zoom Bomber.
Rob, can you officiate?
Jenny, I know
have
that
to
you.
go, though. I have a
have-
hard out. Zoom Bomber, next week, can we get married?
All right,
We'll
yeah,
see.
I'll officiate next week, and you can get married to this piece of shit.
You're all invited to Edward Bonafingers XXX James wedding next week.
You ready to be Mrs. Bonerfingers XXX?
I'm so ready. I've never been more ready. Bye, everybody.
To be continued. See you next week, Jenny. Keep it going, Jenny Zigrino. That was great. Thank you so much. What did you think of that, Gary? Where's Gary?
He's never in the same room as the bomber at the same time.
Yeah, it's so weird how you never see Gary and Edward Bonerfingers XXX in the same room. I guess, but then again, I guess I never see anyone in the same room, so it's not that weird. The next guest is one of my oldest friends in comedy. I knew him even before I started doing comedy. We met we worked at a warehouse, which I know it's hard to believe that I worked at a warehouse. Because I know my look is not like that. Not that I do manual labor, but like I'm in a play about manual labor. We both used to work at a warehouse. Please welcome Dan Crohn.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan. Was that the credit you wanted me to bring you up with?
Worked in a warehouse.
Yeah.
Put that next to laughs on Fox that nobody watched.
Yeah, especially around here, like Newbury Comics probably would get more recognition.
Rob, you taught me everything I know about warehouses.
Oh yeah, it's true. I think
I
I might have given you the tour when you first got hired.
I think you did. I made
Yeah.
$7.50 an hour as a college graduate,
Yeah, I made the same, but I didn't have to go to college. So
and I was really annoying telling everybody that same thing I just told you.
yeah, I remember like a while after you left, I ran into you and I was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And you were like, "Oh, I got a real job now." And I was like, "Oh, cool. I'm still doing that fucking fake ass job."
I would kill for that warehouse job again.
Yeah, it was fun.
I was high all the time, stealing.
Yeah.
I crashed the Newbury Comics van,
I remember that.
and then they didn't ask me to drive it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't much that you couldn't get away with.
Pretty easy gig. All right, fuck that one.
Oh man, do you remember that time that like that one guy flipped out and like pushed a shelf on that other guy?
Yeah, the cops came. I do remember that. That was such a weird job. There was we were listening to Howard Stern throughout the entire warehouse.
Yeah.
Everybody had it on their radio. Even like people had like little, like, they made their own radio just to get access to that.
What have you been doing during the quarantine?
What haven't I been doing? I've been, the other night I accidentally brushed my teeth twice at night. Have you done that?
No, never. I've never been in danger of
I've had $27 in cash since March.
Yeah, man, it's so weird to not just have the same cash forever.
It's worth it.
I'm working from home, but I leave early.
Yeah. A lot of people are still late to Zoom stuff.
Here's the thing. I hate it when people are late and like that's their thing. Do you have a friend that's like, I'm just late all the time and like that's my thing? How about you fucking fix that, right?
Yeah. My roommate, who you may be able to hear in the background,
I said I was like fucking sorry.
Actually, Boulger called me precisely at 4:20 today, which was very nice.
This is the thing too. Like I'm the type of person that if I'm late, when I show up, I'm like, but I feel like Boulger, if he shows up, like he could be like an hour late and he just walks in like, hey, how's it going? It's not. It doesn't stress him out at all.
Come here, I say.
What's that?
Nothing.
Oh man, this is the problem with the Zoom comedy. I missed half of what's said.
That's okay. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. I gotta just stop asking.
The best thing about this pandemic, I want to say, is that knowing things aren't my fault. Does anybody have
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is really good. You can't really fuck anything up, really. Like I'm just in my house, so it's like as long as I don't burn something, I'm good.
I think we're getting better. My mental health is getting better, and I can tell you that because of my Amazon purchase history. Mid-March, I bought a hand-crank solar-powered radio charger that in case the grid goes down, I don't know what that means. But, and then if you flash forward to what I ordered last week, it's popcorn that's drizzled in chocolate. So I think things are good.
I eat popcorn every day. Here's my popcorn right here. That was true before the quarantine, but I ate other stuff too, but now it's like really like 50% of what I'm eating is popcorn, and that can't.
This popcorn with chocolate.
The Indians called it pop maize.
I'm so happy I didn't have to follow. I just followed a marriage proposal. That happened once at the studio. Two people. I was supposed to close, and they go, okay. Rick goes, hey, would you mind going before this person because their significant other is going to propose to them? And I was like, oh, you mean not follow the proposal? Yeah, I'll go right now. Yeah.
How did it go? Did the person say yes?
I left. Just kidding. I think they're married now or something. I don't know.
Who was it? Do you remember who it was?
I'm not naming names. You got to worry about this post-pandemic world. You don't know what kind of connections you can make. Or
well, you didn't say anything mean. You weren't like some fucking idiot got married to a piece of shit. You know.
Hey, you said it. No. I want to get back to my hilarious tweet. I mean, jokes.
Yeah.
I've been traveling.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. That's the best thing about the pandemic is no comedian can go, you know, being a comedian is cool. I travel a lot. I was in Poughkeepsie. Don't go there.
Yeah. Oh man.
I love that has been extinguished. If anything, that's my favorite part of this whole thing.
I hate when people talk about bring up places for no reason, just to be like, I travel a lot for comedy.
You know that cool job I have that you don't have, where I do cool things. I've been meditating. I'm sorry, I've been manscaping. You don't know how I meditate. So I cleaned my entire apartment. It took me like 6 hours, but I thought I cleaned my tub great. So I was like, oh, I'll take a shower after I clean the tub. Whoa. I had scrapes and cuts. I'm like, oh, I'm going to die of whatever you do to get brown water infect you.
Yeah, that's something that's gone out the window. Showering, boy. I used to do that so much.
Oh,
now.
I'm taking like 45-minute showers.
Oh, really? Yeah, I guess when I do it.
Like I'm 13 again.
Yeah. Yeah, you come out dirtier. That's the weird part.
I have a new strategy for cutting my shaving the back of my neck, which is a big problem for Jews. I put my winter hat on, and then I cut underneath the bottom of the brim of the winter hat. I see a couple of people nodding their heads. I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's like a bowl, but it goes lower.
Exactly. It's like a hipster bowl cut.
I've just been buttoning my my top button. Just cover up the hair.
You're wearing button-down shirts. That's admirable. I am not going to do that.
I only do it during this show.
You wear a belt? Are you wearing a belt right now, Rob?
I'm wearing a belt. I'm wearing shoes and everything. But I tell you, as soon as this is over, I am back to being naked.
I tell you.
Yeah,
you just a real Rodney, I tell you. I loved it.
Me and Gary have been working on a character that's...
two of Rodney's writers, Rodney Chad and Dangerfield Jones. They were the original writers. And Rodney just kind of stole the joke a little bit, you know.
He just changed it. He made it his own, you know. Like
you're not giving him any respect.
Hey, I tell you, my son, he just lost another job. He was working for Al Qaeda. They beheaded him.
You know, Al Qaeda. They told their they told them not to come to America because of Corona.
Really? Wow. So there is a bright side. But they'd be
I've been eating bats just to stop terrorism.
You hear about the condom shortage?
No, is there a condom shortage?
I have them all in a box marked 2021.
Dan, do you remember when comedy was live and we did an amateur Make-A-Wish Foundation gig together?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember how they brought us up for the show?
No.
It was an indie Make-A-Wish.
Hope for a wish.
Create an aspiration.
The dying kids, they want to stay underground, stay original their roots. I don't know why they the mountain to the top.
The disease they have is called bad brains.
The person bringing us up was super nervous, me and Dan, and they're like, I don't know how to do comedy. And we're like, you don't have to. You hired us. Just bring us up and just say our names last. I'll host, so just say please welcome Gary Peterson and mention Dan Crohn is your headliner. And the lady went up and immediately blanked. Oh boy, we have so many kids this year.
Did she cry?
She started to cry, and she's like, a lot of kids that couldn't be here. The hardest for me was Carolyn, who died Christmas morning. Get here, Dan Cronin, your funny opener, Gary Peterson, and yeah.
And he went up like,
I was like,
"You guys love jerking off? I love jerking off." That's
all my act.
We waited like an hour for milkshakes after we both ate it. I was supposed to do 45, and they did the check drop 10 minutes in. And,
how much time did you end up doing?
45, but it wasn't good. This is how you know people don't know what the fuck they're doing. We threw a guest spot on, so it was 4 comics, and they were like, after the third comic, the staff was like, right, we dropped the checks, even though everyone was doing 5 minutes. And where did we go to Hooters?
The Hooters right by there. I don't masturbate in the bathroom of Hooters.
Wait, was somebody insinuating that? I mean, I was.
Did he message you that?
Oh, are you privately texting him? That's always fun in a Zoom.
I thought it, and he heard it.
I have masturbated at Hooters. It's just not a thing I do.
In closing, because I feel like I'm dominating nothing. What was the worst gig we ever did? Was there a gig that Boulger and Gary? I feel like we did something that was pretty heinous.
The three of us did an amazing show one time at a very wealthy prep school in Connecticut.
Oh, and Gary dropped the popcorn, and you had a good line, Rob. You go, he always does this.
He does. He always drops the popcorn.
Now, by the way, that's the only thing I remember from that gig is you saying that.
And me getting visibly upset by it.
It was so great. They were kind of showing us where the theater was, and they were like, no food in the theater. And like, as we're walking down the stairs to get into the theater, Gary just drops the hugest thing of popcorn.
Biggest thing of popcorn ever, everywhere.
It was bigger than this.
Yeah,
it was huge. And
wait, did they oh, good times. We'll get back to those times in 2022. I'll leave you with this. I tried to quit weed like the second week of the quarantine because I was like, it's a respiratory thing. I'm going to be fucked. Like, I've been smoking forever. And then I was having the vivid dreams, the night sweats. I've quit weed before, so I know what it's like. And my therapist is like, hey, listen, let's not put this on top of what's already going on. That's why I love my therapist. So thank you for having me, everybody. That was great. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna hang out here forever.
I quit drinking like 3 years ago, and like when this whole thing started, I was like, should I start drinking again? Like I don't really want to, but I'm just like, what else am I doing?
You gotta have hobbies.
Yeah, really. But I haven't. So in case anyone's worried, which I don't think anyone is. But hey, Gary, are you ready to bring up our next guest?
No, we're not speaking. Me and this next guest, we have a long, sordid history, a lot of bad blood. Who is it again? Hey, if you guys want somebody that's a real piece of shit and he's gonna steal all your money, please welcome Draft Dodger Wes Hazzard.
Hey everybody. Yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Rob and Gary. Good to see everybody. So I'm here in Bushwick, Brooklyn, epicenter, but I personally am doing just fine. I am in a good living situation, got a little bit of a financial cushion. I don't have anybody that I'm responsible for, and I'm personally healthy. So I am loving life the last 2 months with no obligations whatsoever. Actually kind of manic, barely sleeping, mind racing, loving it. Mania, recommended. Wes Hazzard's Corona Tales, here we go. So yeah, like I said, it's been going on for about 2 months now. Wednesday, March 11th, that was the last of my old days. That was the last time that I was in Manhattan. That was the last time that I took the subway. That was the last time that I was a person out in the world living. And that's a pretty significant date. I don't know if you guys remember. That's when it got like really real for a lot of America. This was the day, on the same day, they canceled the NBA. They announced the European travel ban, and Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson announced that they had COVID. So like, this was like, shit's really real. And I was in class, I was in the acting class, and I was like, there's no way we're having school for the rest of forever. And everybody in class was like, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure. So how I made my money before all this started, like the vast majority of my income, I was a background actor. So yeah, this is me on the set of FT. Really holding the scene down, pink shirt, that's making it happen. That's me. That is Looky Loo #7. This is me in high maintenance, really just making this cafe scene going. If you can notice, this is the back of Jay Jordan, a much more famous and funnier comedian. You can buy his album, Jay Jordan, y'all, out now. Yeah, it was there. This is me on the set of Lincoln Rhyme, The Bone Collector.
Wow.
Exceedingly mediocre show, but I work with the guy from Sopranos, Chris. That was kind of cool. And yeah, I mentioned all this because how this works is you submit for some gigs, like it'll have a listing, like, you know, do you want to do this background role, and you'll submit. And sometimes though, if they ever, you know, they know they need your specific look, they'll reach out to you and you'll get a text and be like, hey, do you want to this day and time do this role for this much money? It's always $174. And I never don't need $174. So I don't, whatever I'm doing, like, unless I'm already booked to do an extra spot, I always take it. I don't ask questions. I will go wherever in New York City. I don't care. Just give me that money. I will go do whatever, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., whatever. But on Wednesday, March 11th, actually, I was also on the set of Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, doing comedy in the background. So I can say that I performed at Caroline's, even though only the cameraman and these extras heard it. But on Wednesday, March 11th, I got a text to ask me if I wanted to be on New Amsterdam, a medical drama that I've been on before. And they were like, yo, it's this Friday coming up, Friday the 13th, $174 like always. Do you want this gig? And that's when I knew the worm had turned, because I was like, hell no. Because this role would involve being at a hospital for like anywhere from 8 to 14 hours all day long. And it was like no chance in hell that I was going to do that. So yeah, that's when I was like, nope, things are different. You know, we're all doing this. So that's how my life changed. So since all this started, I've just been doing a lot, trying to keep myself occupied. Like I said, mania. Things were really hairy around March 20th, the 2 weeks starting then. And I've lived in a city my entire adult life. But I've trained myself to forget sirens and just ignore them. But I'm right here, I'm in Bushwick, and shit was getting really, really real. Like it was like every hour, twice an hour, 3, 4, 5 times. And so I started like recording. I just made a notation of like every single time that I heard a siren. And it got to the point where I could distinguish a fire truck, an ambulance, and a police cruiser, like without even thinking about it. It was so much. And that was week 1. And then this wasn't even as bad. The next week, things went really crazy. And it was just like off the charts, like 7-8 times an hour, ridiculous shit. I actually stopped the project because it was too much. Like I couldn't focus. Like I was trying to like work and write and everything like that. And you had to stop every 2 seconds to like go record this. Also, I started hearing phantoms and tracers and shit. But you will notice that my PowerPoint, or rather my Photoshop skills, it jumped like significantly with all that extra free time. The second week, I was really crushing it. I'm really proud of that. So things got better on that front. I bought a Fitbit. So like, you know, I'm trying to stay active. And I got it for the sleep tracking ability because I thought it would help me. Because I'm barely sleeping. I'm just like, why the fuck every day? And this is like my sleep schedule. And I have not slept more than 6 hours in 2 months in a row. A lot of nights we're getting 4:15. I'm feeling great too. Like there's no residual effects. Like I'm just like loving this. This is my heart rate is low, which is like I have like a runner's heartbeat. I don't work out at all, but somehow that's working out. Pounding a lot of 5-hour energies on top of it. This is what life is like over here. Again, loving life, no complaints. I take daily walks. I walk probably about 7 miles a day. The litter, like it's crazy how quickly the litter in Brooklyn switched from like cigarette butts and Flamin' Hot Cheetos bags to just masking gloves. Like this is like the smallest of my selection. I have at least 70 pictures of masks discarded on the ground from my ambulance. So like, I got a couple N95s out there. Those are premium. You're balling if you throw those away. So that's what the ground looks like in Bushwick, Brooklyn these days. Also over here, there's a mask in this, but only the second most interesting thing to come out of this particular finding on the road. So that was pretty crazy. I include this just to give you a slice of life of how real shit was. Like we're still in it. Like hundreds of people are still dying in NYC every day, but it's so much better psychologically than it was 3 weeks ago. Because 3 weeks ago, everything was like, I'm going to die. I have this picture in here because went down to the kitchen. I would live with like 6 dudes, which is not an ideal situation if you're trying to social distance, but they're all cool. And I went down to the kitchen. I was talking with my roommate, Ryan, and he's just chopping up some vegetables. This is like 3 weeks ago in the thick of it. And we're chatting, like, you know, talking about TV or whatever. And his hand was wet and he dropped the knife. And like, he was fine. It just clattered around his toes. But like, as we looked up in the eyes, and like that deadlock was like, we realized how serious it was. Like, if you have to go to the ER at that point, like you're fucked, like it doesn't matter what for. So like, that was like where we were. So yeah, just wrapping it up, I got really into, I bought a subscription to the Oxford English Dictionary. So I read that for fun around 4 o'clock at night most nights. And I made a bunch of flashcards for obscure medical terminology. And I made all this art that I put on Medium and no one cared about. So I'm going to switch it up to Zodiac and astrology next to make some money. But backache, that's tending to relieve a cough. This one's real fun. The Rhea sisters, there's a term for this. This is actually in the dictionary. Diseases ending in Rhea, I think diarrhea, gonorrhea, and purrhea personified. That's, you know, you can share that. That's good. I am a 3-time Jeopardy champion. This is what I'm doing with my life now. The goal was to win 5. Life would have been different if that had happened. I could have been, Austin Rogers instead. Here I am with you fine people. Metacaster, that is a person who pretends to a medical skill, a quack, a contrarian. I like that one a lot. Synthetic of a disease, transmitted by a disease. Also, during this time, about 2 weeks ago, I turned 36 years old. So, yeah, thank you. It's like, you know, it's like moment when you realize I am never going to be in the Tonight Show, but it doesn't matter. We're here together with you. Things are beautiful. I am, again, feeling fucking great. Loving lockdown. I don't want it to end, but you guys have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Rob and Gary, for having me. I love you all.
Woo! Woo!
Pretty good for a prop act.
Keep it going for Wes Hazzard. That was great.
Yes, sir.
Alex Trebek's still alive.
Yes, I'm sure he's under guard, but he was doing well, and they got Jeopardy episodes taped for through June 8th, so we're good for just a little bit while longer.
Has there been, Wes, has there been any talk about you taking over the show considering your reign?
Considering the fact that the average age of a Jeopardy viewer is 67 years old, primarily white. We can be confident that's never going to happen. But yeah, no, they have been a lot of talk. Rebecca's suggesting some people, it needs to be someone old. They need to be someone who's at least 45 because the core audience won't respect anyone super young.
You want to hear some?
Don't you think that for all the death and tragedy that's happening, that Jeopardy just seems a little trivial?
See what you did there. No, I am interested in that for when this is all over. I mean, as far as me, like when I'm watching like and comedy, I'm not really interested in hearing art that doesn't deal with this. Like, so like, you know, when this comes back and you come up and you're like, I was at the supermarket the other day, what are we doing here? Like, so like, I've been trying to think about that. Like, you know, a lot of people are going to want escapism and not talk about it, which I totally understand. But for me, I'm really been searching around, just finding out what people are doing with this and how they're incorporating it. I'm really interested in that.
More importantly, did you think my joke was funny?
It was very. I always think your jokes are funny.
Well, thank God.
Yeah. I just wish you'd phrased it in the form of an answer so that Wes could answer with a question.
I'm just trying to find semblance of normalcy.
This is the joke I've been doing. You're talking about sirens. I live across the street from a police station, and this is a joke that I've been doing that has not been going well. Is every time I hear a siren, which is a lot because I'm across from a police station, I say in a cheery voice, "Oh, here they come to shoot the infected and burn the bodies." And my girlfriend is really tired of it. Really.
I didn't know you were seeing someone. Congratulations, Rob. I'm very happy to hear that. Remember that time I went to the movies because my girlfriend thought you were going to commit suicide? That was a good time.
Yeah. I think a lot of people thought I was going to commit suicide because I kept going on stage and talking about it.
You know, but that material, it was so funny. It was like one of my favorite sets I ever heard. And like my date was like, I think I want you to talk to him. Promise me that you'll hang out with him because I'm worried. And I was like, no, this is hilarious. This is the best that I've seen from Rob. Like, man.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
You say that a one-man show is just a suicide note that's been punched up?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Which, by the way, you can get on deadmellow.com. It's called Sadly Sagerton, and it's a lot of fun.
It's fantastic.
It's very sad, but I hope it's funnier than it is sad. I think it is.
I think it's 50-50.
50-50.
Was it recorded at the Gas?
Yeah.
Did any of the Gary's, Emily's, or Chambers, or Handren CB's albums recorded at the Gas come out?
Never. And it's so, I can't believe that I'm the one that actually came out. That's insane to me. I put the least work into it, and it's the one that came out.
Well, mine has a lot of what's his name? Rob did a lot of offstage fart sounds for my album during the entire recording, so I kind of scrapped it.
Yeah, Gary just used a lot of terms that are no longer politically acceptable on his recording, so you know.
Rob's working title for his album was "The Confederacy Is Our History," which I told him.
Yeah.
No,
the thing that really convinced me was he kept just saying, "You live in the North," and I was like, "Yeah, I guess that is true."
Kaplan dropped an album today. I got to go listen to that tonight later on.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was going to come on and talk about it, but he had something else. So he'll be on next week. So if you come back to next
like
week.
You just said a rapper. Like I heard Kaplan, but I could have been a rapper. You just said.
Rapper.
Dan, you didn't know he switched it up. He's in the rap game now.
Yeah.
I have never been happier in my adult life than I have in the last 2 months. And that's like, seems callous to say given all the misery and shit, but like for me personally, like
no, it's
loving life.
Whereas you slept one day?
What was that?
An hour, what was it, an hour 27 or something?
Yeah, one of those days was an hour 27.
Wow. Yeah. I slept 11 hours one day.
Dan, you look like you're still sleeping. It's upsetting.
I was talking to a friend of mine, a lady who told me that she has seen 2 micro penises, which seems like a lot. I should say not at once. There were 2 separate occasions. And so my first question, I think this is an obvious question, was did they warn you before? And she said in both cases, no, they did not warn her. She said they immediately addressed it once the pants came off, but did not warn her beforehand. And I think you really should warn someone. What do you guys think?
It's not really a warning so much as self-preservation. Like, I mean, I just like, I don't want you to laugh, or, like be weird or jump or anything.
Right. and then you're gonna feel bad, and then she's gonna feel bad, and then you know who needs that pressure?
Is the jump like a woman that would see a mouse in church?
Yeah, exactly. Jumps up on a chair, pulls her skirt up so it can't.
She calls another man over to kill it.
I think if you have a micro penis, you should tell the woman on the first date.
See, I don't think it needs to be on the Tinder profile or anything, but I'm just saying, like, right before the pants come off.
Would you rather somebody tell you, or would you rather tell us, or would you rather us tell you?
Yeah, like, would you rather
you must know, right?
Oh yeah, we know right away.
By the smell.
I'm saying, like, the fella must know.
I mean, we know. We actually know just by looking at you, but we know really.
Really? Where do me and Gary sit on the spectrum?
What's that?
Quick guess. Me and Gary. Where are the levels at? Where do me and Gary sit on the spectrum?
They have such a bad connection. What? Allie.
What?
Huh? I'm not saying nothing.
My second question to my friend when she told me about this was, I said, did these two guys, did they have amazing personalities? And her answer was, one did. And the other guy was very good at oral sex, which I guess is you have to do one, at least one.
That makes up for it.
Yeah.
So they were both quick with their tongue. That was for Mother's Day.
And do you have a guitar that you can hold to be like the band leader that chimes in unappropriately?
Trouble in
Well, you
paradise.
gotta chime in. That's why I'm getting paid more.
I want you to be like Sheila E. of this show.
Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Chris Post.
Hey everybody, Wes, I'd give a kidney for 6 hours of sleep a night. It's weird too because, like, I don't know, a lot of us have been talking just like, this is probably the most rested I've been since I've started doing comedy, but the insomnia, it just switched like gears on what to lose sleep over. And I'm like, all right, I have to do, a certain amount of shows after working a day job this week. Now it's just like, what books am I going to catch up on? Like, I tossed and turned the other night. I was like, I really need to reread The Grapes of Wrath. I don't know why. I was like, and I'm ashamed too because like we all read it. I presume like in high school, right? But it was like under the guise of like mandatory reading, so you don't enjoy it. Yeah.
Well, except for the end scene. Ooh.
I feel a lot of place. I'm like the only one not smoking right now. I'm not. Oh yeah.
I'm not smoking either. Yeah.
Rob,
I'm eating popcorn.
Rob, I remember the first time you told me you don't smoke weed. I just like almost like fell out of my chair. I was like,
I know. I wear a denim jacket every day. Yeah. I always say like this pocket on a denim jacket is like where drugs come from.
For context, I knew Rob's roommate before I knew Rob, who is smoked a decent amount of weed. Right? Yeah. And so
sells weed.
Yeah.
Does he really?
Yeah, he wanted us to mention that on the internet. I can't do it. It gives me a existential panic.
Well, I think I'm very compartmentalized in it. I smoke, but never publicly. Like I've never gotten. I think I got on stage high once. Yeah, we were actually going to the Middle East, and I wasn't smoking. I was with him and Tom Crowley, and Mike lit up some hash wax and boxed the car out. And I hadn't smoked in quite a while, and I actually got contact high, and we go into the Middle East, and you and John Paul just kind of, instinctively, like, just saw us, so you wrote our names down. And John Paul came up to me a little while later. He goes, "You're on next." And I, like, literally was like, I can't do it. And I went up to Mike Kerrigan. I was like, "You fucking got me high." And he was like, "Nah, you're a bitch." A week later, Mike Kerrigan comes up to me, and he goes, "I think you might have been telling the truth." Because I guess he drove Jai Young to a gig and did the same thing. Jai Young, who has obviously never gotten high or probably had a second drink in his life,
Yeah.
After the car was boxed out for a minute, Jai Young just goes, "I feel different."
Alex Gabbard does the Weeding Up the Stone shows, and I got high on one of those, and it was, I did not like it. Because it was at Improv Boston, so like we went outside and we smoked weed, and then I went back in and I was high, and which I don't like, and then I realized like not only am I high, but I work here, like I'm at work.
I still like to get high, just never like at shows or
Who's got that dry cough?
What's that?
Yeah, whose dry cough is that?
Is it
That might be Katie. That might be just a weed cough.
It's a chronic cough.
Someone I went to college with started like a group that was like, hey, this is a great time for us to reconnect. And I just was like, no, fuck that. Like, just because I've had an element of self-loathing my whole life. But I think of all the times I've hated myself, college was the most. Just because, I went to college in New London, Connecticut, which is like, Connecticut, I mean, it's a hack thing to say, but like, Connecticut sucks, but it's like, there's different parts that suck for different reasons. And I think I could define my college town by saying that the best bar in town was called Roadhouse. The first time I went in there with a fake ID, I was like, oh, like the Swayze movie. And you would think the bar staff would be so sick of hearing that, but he was like, yep, we're proud of it. Yep, totally, man. Those are the people you don't want to reconnect with. I think once you get past, like, hey, I don't black out or anything, like, college is like the first time you have freedom. And the first thing I do with my freedom, I got nipple rings. Like, that was
yeah. Do you still have nipple rings?
No. I actually took them out like not long after I got into comedy.
Yeah.
Not long after I took my nipple rings out, I was about 4 months into comedy. I heard Gary do this bit, and he was describing a guy that had nipple rings, and he said like door knockers. And I was like, oh my god, that was me.
Big old knockers on the Transylvania mansion door.
Yep, that was the bit. Yeah, and that's when I knew.
By the way, a beautiful bit, just a really beautiful bit about the love between Gary and his father. Yeah, you have a lot of tattoos. Some people are getting tattoos during the quarantine, which seems
so. Yeah, an old I would say running buddy of mine, someone I used to get pretty tweaked with. He lives in Florida now, and he went on Facebook today and posted a picture from a tattoo parlor in Florida showing him getting a geisha girl on it. So I don't have the energy to argue and insult people on this stuff anymore. It's like, if I see them in person, we'll talk about it, but I just don't have the energy for the shootouts anymore,
Yeah. I think that you're doing is what you should do, which is say nothing to them and then just make fun of them with other people. That's what I do.
I don't know. It's, Crohn talks about, I meditate too. It's like, it helps you just, instead of like going with your, knee-jerk reaction to do something.
Yeah. 2 a day? You doing 2 a day, Chris?
Yep, you know it, man.
Good for you. Good for you. That's awesome.
I talked to Alvin David. He's masturbating 4 times a day.
That should be common knowledge.
At his age, that's amazing.
He said he cranked out 7.
Does he come in the third person?
Hey.
But yeah, I was dribbling, bro.
I just imagine, it's weird to imagine your friend with their cock in their hand, but I'm just imagining him doing the thing he does with the microphone where he's like,
yeah.
And he says,
that's why he's got such good basketball handle. He's ambidextrous.
Because of jerking off.
Yeah.
Oh, and the microphone. And both of us.
But it's so funny. Yeah, Crohn and I have gone to the same meditation group before one time, and you share with the group. Dan, I hope you don't mind me talking about this.
No, go for it. I'll talk about it all day.
We both mentioned that we do comedy to like this whole group one time, and this guy comes up to us after. He goes, "Oh, you guys do comedy?" And me and Crohn are like, "Yeah." And we were like, "Oh, maybe you heard of my son." And me and Crohn are like, "Oh yeah." He goes, "Oh, BJ Novak," and we were like, "Fuck you, dude."
Chris, tell him about the time we went to Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses came to the Garden about 3 years ago, and Boulger and I got tickets. So we meet up for some drinks before, a couple shots, couple beers, nothing insane. And we go in through security, and they stop me short. They're like, "You're not coming in tonight, pal." And after Boulger and Zola got in, and I was like, "What did I do?" And they kind of swarmed on me, and they started putting their hands on me, and that just like got me so angry. I was like, "Just take your hands off me, and I'll walk out." And
I thought you weren't that drunk, and then I saw you from upstairs. I saw your eyes. You looked like a fucking hammerhead shark.
I think that was blonde great.
You look so scary.
Yeah.
The reason I got in is because I'm 110 fucking pounds, and you look like you. Like,
Yeah.
Even if I went on a drunken rampage, like I would lose one fight. Whereas he would have torn apart all the 50-year-olds in Boston.
Yeah, I will say I saw you later that night, Chris, and you were.
Yes.
It was probably the drunkest I'd ever seen you.
So yeah, well after that I was like, I'll show
yes.
them, and that's I was like, okay, yeah, and then
yeah, because that's really like something to be too drunk for Guns N' Roses. Like if you were too drunk to like go see the Jonas Brothers, that's hey, that could just be a few drinks in. But too drunk to see Guns N' Roses, that is.
Who are you, Steven Adler?
Steven Adler, right?
First drunk.
Yeah, he's the guy that sued them for getting him hooked on drugs, right?
In a sense, yeah.
If this is like too drunk to get into Guns N' Roses, like what's too drunk to like get into like a demolition derby? That's got to be a little bit higher, right?
I was once at an airport bar, and the bartender told me, "You're too drunk to go to the airport.
Too late."
He's like, "If you're early, just go sit in the lobby because you will be arrested."
I once got cut off at the Milky Way bar in JP, and despite them, I started buying girls' drinks, running up my own tab. And they're like, you can still keep spending that money. We'll take it. And I was like, you cut me off. And that was the night me and Rob met.
One more time for Chris Post, everyone. Chris Post. That was great.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dan Boulger.
Hey guys,
how are you doing?
I'm fucking great, man. How's your pop maze?
It's great.
It's a callback from an earlier heckle. I've honestly never been more social than the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I've been having picnics.
I went to the Arboretum 2 weeks ago, and it was very crowded. I was surprised at how crowded it was.
Yeah. That's why we got to go. We'll go on a weekday.
This was Wednesday morning. I couldn't believe it was so crowded.
Does anybody work anymore?
No.
I do.
Oh, that's why. The assholes got to get back to work.
Yeah, open America back up. That's what you're saying.
How about more jails? But get this, we'll make them for profit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with jails is that they weren't profitable enough.
How about this? We'll just give them 2 meals a day.
And does it have to be 2 hots in a cot? Can't it be like 1 hot, 1 continental?
Dan, have you done any prison gigs?
You could make the case that my whole career has been a prison. Gary,
has anyone here ever been to prison? Chris? Anyone?
Gary, about a year ago, we were at Steve Sweeney's premiere.
Sweeney killing Sweeney?
The one thing I always tell people is that there's only one woman in the movie that Sweeney doesn't fuck. And you can tell who she is because she is the antagonist.
It was like a Boston comedy high school reunion because we watched Steve Sweeney's 3-hour epic movie.
It's 3 hours?
Made by a guy who's never acted, written by an illiterate person.
And there's like an ending scene. I don't want to spoil it, but he's running away.
No, I'm trying to watch this.
Oh, okay. He's
running away. His run looks worse than De Niro's kick in The Irishman.
Yeah. Film just doesn't make sense in so many levels. We get out of the movie theater, and it was like Dana Gould, Bobcat Goldthwait, Brian Kiley, Ron Lynch, and it was Chris Walsh, James Patterson, Dan Boulger, myself, Steve Sweeney, and we're all just like standing around like class of 2016. It was we're all just standing there out of obligation, and Steve talked to literally none of us. For the 19th time, introduced himself to me. And I've opened for him 12, maybe 13 times over 8 years.
The Monday after I had opened for him that weekend, I saw Steve Sweeney at the Braintree Mall. I go, Steve! He puts his hand on my shoulder and he goes, how are you, kid? Yeah. Hey, you were good last weekend. You're the singer, right?
I saw him returning used CDs to the Cambridge Side Galleria, and he showed me a bag of them, and he was like, you think they're going to take these back?
Sweeney proved to be right. Ja Rule's solo career just didn't work out. And I've been watching a lot of movies. Rob and I had a great movie stretch. We would go to Tuesday movies.
We saw They Shall Not Grow Old. That was a laugh riot.
Yeah. That was the movie where they it was World War I, and they used CGI to show you exactly how bad British people's teeth are.
Yeah, man. They were bad.
Yeah. Horrendous. Worse than the trenches themselves.
You have one of my absolute favorite moments. We all went to like a late night movie in Boston Common, maybe like Cloverfield or something. Jono and you went, you guys want snacks? We're going to buy you guys snacks. You guys want some snacks? And you left and then came into a crowded theater, both of you, with your pants around your ankles, with your arms full of snacks. And you just didn't address, and you're like, you want some popcorn? You want a raisinette? And you just kept your pants down.
Jono's a pants down guy.
I'm not saying that didn't happen. I don't remember doing it.
That was Jono's thing. He would sit in the front row, and then as soon as the movie was over, he would be the first person to stand up with his pants down.
Dan, do you remember us switching shirts at a bar one time?
No.
Makes sense.
I remember one time me and Shane Moss we went to go see Chris Cornell.
Oh.
Well, I didn't do it. Oh, yeah. But then me and Shane, we tried to get into the Hong Kong, and we didn't get let in. So Shane goes, well, switch shirts. And then we only went like 10 feet away and just like changed shirts, and the bouncer was like, I just saw you guys taking
Yeah, we switched shirts because I spilled a glass of wine on your long sleeve Celtics t-shirt.
Was it a dinner formal? Why was Dan dressed up?
Was that the night where I went ape shit? Like just ape shit?
I was gone by the time that happened, but yes, you woke up in the foyer of an apartment building, I believe.
Yeah, and a cop asked me if I wanted to be arrested.
What did you say?
I gave an affirmative no.
That's a good answer.
And then I walked outside of the Central Square. I ran into Joe Picarillo.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sat in the Harvard Square Dunkin' Donuts for 3 hours and just watched my car have parking tickets put on it.
Those were the days.
You remember when you opened for Galifianakis?
Yeah.
Zach?
Yeah. Oh, we co-headlined. I went first, and I did less time.
You were like had your hands in your sweatshirt, and you were wearing your jeans. And do you remember what he said when he came out?
No.
He said, "Keep it going for Dan Boulger. Casual Friday, Dan."
Oh.
It was kind of like an eye roll at your outfit.
I had no idea.
So good.
At the end of that show, I walked across the street, and there were like people. I had a great parking spot. I thought it was like directly across from Berkeley, and there were people like, "Hey, good set!" Like beeping their horns and stuff. I parked like 6 feet from a fire hydrant. They gave me like a ticket. It was a ticket. But I also didn't know my hero shunned me.
Bethany used to do the dress-up show, and she offhandedly said that she could never book you because you would never dress up, and you rented like a 19th century tuxedo.
Oh yeah, I had a top hat. I had gloves.
You looked exactly like the guy from the beginning of Cheers.
That was Mr. Peanut.
Yeah.
It was fucking awesome. And then the best part of it, I can't remember. I wore it for like 2 days straight. I would just walk around the city drunk, get martinis and shit. I walked into the studio. I don't remember who was on stage, but he was like a nervous fella, and he had like his eyes closed. And I just walked in the room, and like the place just exploded. And he had no.
I think his name was Gary Peterson.
I was doing my one-man show, Slutty Rob.
Slutty Slutterson.
I didn't put any product in my hair tonight because it's just the gas.
I just got olive oil in mine.
I've been combing my hair straight back just to like try to change up my appearance, and I did it for the first time 3 weeks ago. And would you believe that within 4 hours I was having sex with another man's wife? I don't go out much.
Yeah, me either.
I couldn't find my car the other day. I walked around for like 45 minutes. And then just on a whim, I just was like, hey, I just went to my phone. I was like, where did I park? And it knew right where I had parked 4 days ago. And then I realized that just because something's really creepy doesn't mean it can't be kind of cool too. I think that's why people have sex with magicians.
Dan, I understand that you hate when musicians sell out.
Like when their music is in commercials?
Oh, like when Neil Young did it?
Yeah. That's got to be one of the hardest times.
Yeah. Because it didn't fit.
Yeah, it was a song, The Needle in the Damaged Diamond. And then he sold out. And the song, he switched it to, I caught you knocking at my cellar door. I love you, baby. Can I have some more Fig Newtons? Good job, Gary. Oh, yeah. Well, I did Byron Allen. It was really fake, but it still felt nice. When he came on, he got like the real Kim Jong-un intro. He's like dancing and fucking shit. The crowd's going nuts. And then he sits down, and the producer comes out, and he's like, we forgot to put the camera on. So he had to come out and did the whole thing, and he starts feeding like these cheesy fucking lines, you know? And one of the lines he asked me, I have a gay marriage joke, and he goes, so Dan, I heard you've been getting into some gay marriage lately.
So Dan, I hear you've been trying to get your mother to eat more fatty food lately. Is that true?
Yes. Yes, it is true. I don't know how it's true. I don't quite remember how it's true, though.
You're trying to get her to eat avocado.
She wouldn't do that. She hates Mexicans. I don't remember how that one goes.
Well, because she didn't want to eat avocado because she heard it was fattening.
Oh, yes, she does.
Yeah.
And then I have to explain to her that there's good fat and that there's bad fat, and that avocados aren't the bad fat like bacon. Yeah. You know, they're more like the good fat like Lizzo. And if the crowd was a little older, although she's not skinny, I would say Adele.
Yes.
And if it was older than that, William Howard Taft.
I understand, Dan, you have a favorite movie? Is that true?
All right, sure thing, Guy Byron's clearly fucking. 3,000-mile penis.
You gotta warn someone when you have a 3,000-mile long penis.
If that thing gets hard for 4 hours, you'll have to call 3,000 doctors.
Oh.
Was that good? Yes, I do have a favorite movie.
What is it?
I thought about it long and hard, and my favorite movie of all time is Jaws. Because I loved it as a kid, right? But when you're a kid, it's just three guys in a boat trying to kill a shark, you know? But like when you're an adult, you realize that it's kind of like a movie about fear itself. You know, like when each guy's getting on the boat, the orca, right? They're going on to fight their own individual fear. Like Quint, right? He seems like a hardened man of the sea, right? But as you learn more, you see he's like a survivor of the USS Indianapolis. His whole life, he was once hunted, and now he wants to get revenge. It's more about revenge for him, you know? Like even when he destroys the radio, you realize, oh, the USS Indianapolis couldn't send out a distress signal, so neither would the orca, because he's not killing this shark, he's killing the shark that's his past, right? Or then like a Hooper, he seems like the opposite of Quint, right? He's a logical like man of science, right? But his fear is he's got to fight the same fear that every scientist fights, the fear that science has killed God, right? Like he knows when he gets into that shark cage, especially, like he's got to go fight the fear that every modern man must fight. What happens when your science fails you and you have no faith behind you, right? What's going to happen? I'll tell you what'll fucking happen. You're going to end up on a log in the middle of an empty ocean, almost happy that there's no one around you because you're not even useful to yourself, right? And then there was the chief. He was gay.
That was beautiful.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep it going for Dan Boulger.
Dan Boulger. Personal hero.
Thanks, everyone. I'll see everyone soon. Stay healthy. And
we want to sing. We want to end by singing, Robbie.
Yes.
You want to try it? It's so it works so poorly on Zoom, but let's give it a shot.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
One.
Hold on, before
two.
we do this, is Road to Perdition worth watching?
Good night, students. We appreciate